So Sharon, how was your Halloween?
I don't know. What about it?
You know, like, did you get a few scares on people, or did you get the candy that you wanted?
I would, but I'm a cat, remember?
Oh, right.
I probably could have if you just had gotten me that zombie costume I asked for. No, you just had to get the Pikachu ears.
Oh, you would have looked adorable.
Shut up, dude.
No need to be a negative Nancy about it. Everybody would have loved it. God damn it! How the hell do you beat this guy?
Wait, who is it?
This guy! Fucking
What guy? Who? Excuse me?
Zangief! I freaking hate that guy. Did you look up any ways on how to beat him yet?
I tried, but your iPod can't read my paws.
Don't you just hate that? Where you consistently lose in the same part of a video game, you just feel like throwing your controller at the damn TV? Because I know I do. But I have a solution to that. If you're having a problem with the game, just play a different one, and one that you already beat before. So it's easy. Like a Kirby game. And that brings us to the topic I wanted to share with you guys today is my top 10 favorite Kirby games. So no more dilly-dallying, let's just jump right in. Enjoy, guys! In my number 10 spot is gonna be Kirby Mass Attack for the Nintendo DS. I actually wasn't 100% sure I wanted to put this Kirby game on my list. I'll explain why. Kirby Mass Attack was the game I just stumbled upon at my local GameStop. And surprisingly for a Nintendo fan like myself, I had never heard of the game or anything about it. And at the time I had money, so I bought it. Here it comes. Of course, me expecting a nostalgic-inducing, happy, and memorable Kirby game, I was introduced with frustration. Controlling more than one cute puffball? At first glance, you'd be like, Mierda Santa! A game where you can control more than one Kirby? Holy crap! There's gonna be some major swallowing, if you know what I mean. Oh man, I gotta stick it in my DS right away! But after the first world, it started feeling very repetitious, like overwhelmingly repetitive. When you first dive into the game, you get a very kiddie and nice tune for the game, which seems very promising. You play the first level and you're like, dang, this is cool. Using 8 Kirbys at once to kill enemies and pull things down as a team? That's perfect for kids out there to learn something from this. But then, when things start to continue and you're going farther in levels, things begin to get so haywire. enemies from left and right hitting you, your Kirby's getting stuck in areas you have to go back to lead them out, or you can't progress in the stage, and trying to grab dead Kirbys that turn into angels. That is cute, but when your Kirbys are constantly dying from 2 hits and they're flying all over the place, that's very stressful. But, I mean, I like that Nintendo was thinking out of the box, instead of making it another bland Kirby game where you just go around and swallow your enemies to copy abilities. The music is nice, and Kirby-like, and the idea of controlling a team, that's a cool idea, but it can get extremely hectic at times. But in retrospect, the idea and the overall creativity is certainly there. Number 9 is Kirby's Epic Yarn. More like Kirby's pleasant yarn. There's nothing really epic about the game, except for the vehicle parts and bosses. But the game definitely has Kirby written all over it. Released for the Wii in 2010, in this game, Kirby was having a grand old time in Dreamland, as always. But that day, Kirby stumbles upon a tomato that doesn't look like the ordinary, so he eats it. That's not really, a surprise to Kirby fans, obviously. But that tomato belonged to an evil yarn sorcerer named Yin Yarn. Yin Yarn is infuriated, so he kidnaps Kirby into a sock that transports him into another dimension where everything is made out of yarn, even Kirby himself. And in this fabric-y dimension, he meets a strikingly similar body type to Prince, named Prince Fluff, who tells him that Yin Yarn is trying to take control of Patchland. Oh, it's actually a perfect name for that place, actually. By making minions to do his bidding, and it's up to Kirby and Fluffykins to defeat him. What makes this game a perfect interpretation of what a Kirby game should be is its colorful and charming atmosphere, and the kitty cutscenes add to its charm. The characters, I would say, is so memorable, but cute, and the controls, nothing to complain about. Even better, you can't even die in the game. How great is that? Oh yeah, one more thing. Why is there fire in a world only made out of wool? Better not piss off Yin Yarn before he sets you and your world on fire. Aw man, that would suck. Number 8 is Kirby Superstar Ultra for the DS. This is the Kirby game if you're into exploration and minigames, because this game is full of that stuff. This is most likely the game you'd have if you even owned a Kirby game at all. Even though the story was short, there's minigames like Snack Attack and Kirby Swipe. Even though it's just a remake of Kirby Superstar for the SNES, most people had this one because its advanced graphics and the ability to take it wherever you want. Number 7 is Kirby Canvas Curse. Again, another game that you wouldn't expect from any other average Kirby game. I just love Nintendo spin-off games. They would take our favorite Nintendo characters and add them in different gameplays and sometimes storyline that just enhance the love we have for them. Anyways, Kirby Canvas Curse for the DS, you play as Kirby, obviously, but without legs and feet, because of a witch named Drawsia, who transformed you into a limbless Kirby, and now you are limited to drawing rainbows for mobility. I really like this Kirby game because it's very different from the others. It makes it a challenge to get through the levels or defeat bosses and enemies with taps on the screen with your stylus. Before we get to the next Kirby game, what about that new Rainbow Curse, huh guys? BRB, let me ask my boy SpongeBob. SpongeBob, what do you think of that new Kirby and the Rainbow Curse for the DS?
I don't need it. I don't need
So
it.
corny.
I definitely don't need it. I 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 need it!
Number 6 is Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland for the Game Boy Advance. Now this is one of those classic Kirby games that we've all played sometime in our lives. Kirby runs around and swallows enemies to copy abilities and beat levels. Even though it's just a remake of Kirby's Adventure for the NES, it is still a fun classic Kirby game. Number 5 is Kirby Squeak Squad for the DS. Now this is one of those games that I played with friends and cousins when we were together, and just so happened to have our DSs with us. I think I played this Kirby game all the time than any other. It's just so fun. Anyways, this game introduced the Squeak Squad, a group of mischievous mice who love treasure. At first, Kirby thinks they took Kirby's scrumptious cake, but they were just minding their own business and stealing treasure, I guess. I mean, who cares, right? As long as nobody fucks with Kirby's cake. I mean, hey, I'd be pissed too if someone took my food. The game also brought back the ability where you can combine your weapons, just like in Kirby 64. Shit, I just told you my number 3. Anyways, I would always love mixing together hammer and fire, or rock and water, and my personal favorite is combining sword with other abilities. I just love slicing up enemies with flames with the fire sword, or shockingly stab my enemies with the thunder sword. Kirby Squeak Squad would have been my number 1, but you'll see. Anyway, KSS was a very fun and addicting game with treasure and scroll hunting, and especially the multiplayer. Number 4 is Kirby's Return to Dreamland for the Wii. This game, oh man, this game is fun. Most people would say it's more like a kiddish version of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but I like it anyways. You can play as Kirby, Meta Knight, King Dedede, or even Waddle Dee, who has a spear now for some reason. But the game's music is very cheery, and I love how Nintendo added super abilities. Like the Monster Flame, where you can summon a gigantic fire dragon, or the Flare Beam, where you're able to control a ball of electricity around the screen. Or the Grand Hammer. This one you can enlarge your hammer to 3 times as big, and slam down on any objects or platforms. Or the Snowball, you can roly-poly through the stage and pick up enemies along the way. And my personal favorite, the Ultra Sword. When you have the Ultra Sword, anyone in your range is faced with a humongous slice to the face. It's awesome. If you have a Wii, I recommend getting it. Number 3 is Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards for the Nintendo 64. I think this is the first Kirby game I've played that I actually really liked and constantly played. When you control Kirby, it does feel kinda slow, but the controls are okay for the N64. My favorite thing about the game is the ability to combine the powers. Why do I love that so much? Kirby 64 is an adventure everybody back in the day have lived through. Well, who had the system at least. It's a story about a planet full of cute fairies who get attacked by killer eyeballs. It was the 90s. That shiz was scary. Anyways, one of the fairies from that planet called Ripple helps the fairy queen and escapes with her precious gem that acts as a power source, I guess? But the killer eyeballs chase her through space and attack her, which then she lands on Popstar, where Kirby's adventure begins. The music in the Crystal Shards is awesome. As always, composer Hirokazu Ando helped make the music. He also helped compose Super Smash Bros. For the N64 and Melee for the GameCube. And of course, the abilities. God, I love them. There's so many combinations of abilities you can do, like a volcano coming from Kirby's head, or a fire sword, and my favorite, the ice skates. Not only does Kirby look adorbs, it's fun skating through the levels and just paying no mind to the enemies with the sweet sound of Shiver Star theme playing in the background. But Kirby 64 is basically a nostalgic adventure the whole way through. Number 2 is Kirby and the Amazing Mirror for the GBA. I would say this is like the best portable game to have with you because this game is very long, especially when you want to complete it 100%. Like an average Kirby game, you start the game up, you play through the level, and you beat it without dying. But Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, you have this huge map to explore, which later on you see it begins to expand and get bigger. And with doors that can lead you to entirely different areas, you can go from like a scary mansion to frickin' space, which is the tap of the up button. Kirby the Amazing Mirror is full of adventure, catchy music, and cool creative areas. If you go on any trips away from home, bring your GBA and KTAM, and you'll be playing till your fingers bleed. In a good way. And my number 1 favorite Kirby game is Kirby Air Ride for the GameCube. I love this game to death. It might even be my favorite game on the GameCube. I know it might be a little weird to love a spin-off game, but I don't know what Nintendo was thinking, but their minds were in the right place. Kirby Air Ride is a spin-off game of our lovable Puffball, who takes it to the streets in this intense racing game. There's 3 modes to choose from. The first mode is your regular air ride mode, is where you race others in different and unique courses to the finish line. Top Ride is the second mode. It's more or less the same thing as air ride, but the camera controls are different. In Top Ride, the camera goes overhead and you can see the entire course in front of you. And for your controls, instead of just steering to the right and to the left, you must point in the direction you want to go. So if you want to go up, you point up. If you want to go right, point right. You know, just use the blue vehicle. It's so much easier. And for the third mode is City Trial. This has the same controls and camera as Air Ride, but you get to drive around in a city-like map and pick up power-ups that are in blue boxes, like speed and defense, to improve your car. And once the time runs out, you get to put your vehicle to the test, with all of its power-ups in a mini-game. It could be a race, to a beat-em-up mission, or a boss battle with King DDD. And if you're really curious, you could even strike a chance of finding one of the 2 legendary vehicles. Dragoon is my favorite. City Trial is my favorite mode in Kirby Ride. It's also the only mode that works without it freaking going all error on me. Oh, God damn it. I really only play that one with my cousins, because you can get so many different outcomes with your vehicle, and if you're playing with other people, you can mess with them and destroy their vehicle and take all their power-ups. It's messed up, but it always keeps everyone on edge. It makes the game more intense. I don't have anything else to say about the game besides the music is awesome. The control can't get any better. And there's a wide variety of vehicles to choose from, and unlockables and goals you can achieve on the in-game checklist. Jeez, this really is like the best Kirby game out there. You should really try it if you haven't played it yet. Like now, you will fall in love. I'm serious.